The story is one of the best Sonic stories in a long time. The origin of the Chaos Emeralds was good. I love that the emeralds are from another world. Speaking of, the ancients were one of the best things. The Sonic series has gone for ancient tribe stories before, and I felt like this was one of the better ones. I love their relation to Chaos and seeing their last moments. The rise of Eggman's daughter was something I completely did not expect, but it worked. Yes, I wish there was a little more scenes of her and Eggman, but I love how Sage was. Also, characters like Tails and Amy realizing that they need to be more independent was actually good. I am so fucking glad that there's a new writer. The one we've had for the past decade was not a good choice at all. So I gotta say, I love the new direction that they have for Roger. His deeper voice for Sonic gives him this older sounding version of the character which fits. I love how it turned out. Anyway, seeing Sonic be understanding, trying to talk Sage down instead of just fighting her, him having actual genuine good moments of him comforting his friends, and even while he's in fucking pain he's still smiling, he's still going, just was such a good thing to see again. Something which we hardly got from Well Colors to Forces. I am so glad that he is getting his pre-Colors personality back. I'm just gonna put them together since my opinions of them aren't that much different from each other. I was go spas they addressed how inconsistent Tails has been since like Lost World. It seems like they're actually gonna try making him independent again, which I'm so damn glad. Amy being the one trying to help a lost lover and even standing up to Sage for her remark of Sonic was good to see. It's good to see her not only trying to help others again, but also once again using her words to counter an enemy instead of just attacking. I hope they give her more to do for herself. Knuckles, while for me the least interesting of the three for development, well, it's good to see he's not portrayed as this idiot goofy dude. Instead we see him try to be a commander. And someone who actually does for a moment relive the pain of being the last of his tribe. 2022 was really the year of getting Knuckles out of this stupid portrayal he's had since like Lost World. I hope they continue fixing him. I really don't have much to say other than, well, like I said, of all the ancient tribe stories the Sonic series has done, this felt like one of the better ones. Seeing how they used the emeralds and hell when did tragedy struck them was one of the best things the Sonic series has done. Eggman is seated back here, which I don't really mind. His interactions with Sage were the best parts of this game, just seeing him be more proud of her each time and even discussing his rivalry with Sonic was interesting. Yes, I do wish he had more scenes with her, but it still works. The game through his recordings actually reveals stuff like how he was overshadowed by Maria, which did bother him. I found that interesting. It gives a bit of a clue as to why he is the way he is. His reaction to Sage having to leave him, and her sacrifice actually made me feel damn sad for him. Something I never thought I would feel for Eggman. And for last, easily one of the best Sonic characters. She was written good and actually made you care about her. Her relationship with Eggman was actually good. Her viewing him as her father and him viewing her as his daughter was actually one of the best moments of the Sonic series. I loved seeing her transition from someone who just viewed Sonic as an enemy to actually being intrigued by his interactions with others, and even understanding him at one point was just so good. I actually felt sad when she sacrificed herself, and I am actually glad they did not just get rid of her like that. I really am excited to see her again. The gameplay here was such a nice refresh. The combat is easily one of the best since 06. Hell, it's actually better. There are multiple moves for Sonic to use, which adds to the fun. The three Titans were easily the best bosses in the whole Sonic series. They were so fun and actually different from each other. I was so surprised by how fun they are. While the three were very fun, this one I'm mixed on. Look, I agree, out of all the Titans, this was the weak one. Now I do not hate it like a lot of people do, but I understand the disappointment. My opinion is that I do not hate it, but I felt like the boss needed to be worked on more. I felt like the whole energy attacks could have been a good thing, but it ended up being way too much that it felt a little tedious dealing with it. Also, the end is supposed to be like phase 2 of this boss, but if you're like me and played the game on normal, well, you don't actually get to have the boss fight with it, you just do some quick time events. Granted, the boss fight for it does not look good at all. The music is such a fucking bop. Pretty much every song I have replayed so many times because it's so damn good. Getting Tyler back and getting Kellen was such a genius move. They do such an amazing job. Having like free roam for the islands was great. I loved being able to travel around the island and explore. Though speaking of the islands, well, I'm mixed about them. Kronos was a good start and I felt like in general was one of the better islands. Rhea, while lacking the normal challenges, did have the towers, which did make me feel a bit tense, especially about falling. I was glad to have an island where I didn't have to get the emeralds. Ernest is alright. By that point I was kinda tired of collecting the emeralds. Ares was fine. I'm not much of a fan of desert locations, but at least this wasn't a bad island. Chaos I am mixed on. I'm gonna save my cons on it for later, but I wish it had more development. You know, collecting the emeralds 2 times is fine, whatever, but 3 and especially 4 times is too much. Something like Rhea Island where a new thing gets introduced and you have to take it down was so much of a better choice. If the emeralds didn't take as long to get as they do, well, maybe it would not be as bad, but 4 times is overdoing it. Chaos Island I had multiple issues with. There is so much stuff in that island where you can like go on an 2D thing and it is such a common issue. So many times I had to jump off those rails or even flip Sonic around to go back. It was a common issue I was running into. One major thing that kinda bugged me was there's way too many challenges to unlock the map. I get they want the game to be a little longer, but I felt like it was a little overdone. Another issue of the challenges is that so many of them are just the same thing, for example like, oh, hit the ball in the blue rings. Final issue was supreme. I did not hate the boss, but it definitely needed more time spent on it. The new writer for, well, at least the game series, Ian, was such a damn good choice. He actually gives a fuck about the Sonic series unlike the previous one. I am so glad the last writer is out. Sonic and every character here actually have personalities and I am excited for once to see what is gonna happen to them. The music, like I said, is such a fucking bop. If there's one thing the series is usually great with is, well, the music, especially vocal ones. Getting Tyler and Kellen was such a good move and I hope they get to return for the series. The free roam-ish feature, well, I'm glad we got. I love being able to run around an island and explore it on my own. The 3 Titans are easily the best parts. Each one is so fun and different from another, which the series really needed. The islands, yes, even Chaos, are unique and I love the added stuff like lava for Chaos Island, though besides Chaos, well, I thought the islands were well made. The combat is so much better. I am so glad that combat is actually being treated as important here. The new hyped up villain, Sage, is actually a good character. Unlike Infinite, she wasn't overhyped the hell out of and she had a personality. Granted, she isn't the actual main villain, but she was the main threat for most of the game. The story is actually good. It feels like there was actual love for it. I give this game a 7.5 out of 10.